How you guys doing? It's 514 Mystic from BookieBullies.com, and this is Breaking Down the Books, coming off of a 4 out of 10, 4 out of 10 day on Friday. Not such a bad day, could be better. Haven't gone 50% in quite some time. I think the last time was the 9 of 12, which was like on Wednesday. So haven't really been doing that good as of late. Obviously, there's 50-50, but it is what it is. 40% is not that bad, but I'm trying to go perfect. Anyways, like I said, and like I promised, I told you guys starting this week, I'll be giving you guys a free play. And these are going to be the premium plays on BookieBullies.com. Link is in the description, so feel free to check it out. Usually about an hour before game time, I'll give, because then the closest to game time as possible is when I'll give the pick, because typically, you don't want to you want to wait for all the information to be on your end to be able to get your best chances of getting a winner. Anyways, there's a long slate of hockey, a long slate of basketball, and obviously it's Monday Night Football. So we're gonna get right into it. I'm gonna try to keep it short. I don't have a lot of plays today. There's a lot of games, but I don't have a lot of plays. Starting from the top, we got the Buffalo Sabres versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Buffalo Sabres are coming off of a big win last night, 5-2 victory. Now they're still on the road playing versus Tampa. Tampa hasn't looked overly impressive, but they've been pulling out victories left and right. Last big game that they had was on Saturday, where they came off with the victory. I don't have a play in this game. If I had one, I'd have to give the plus 1.5 for Buffalo, but I don't have a play in this game. Tampa typically has their number. Next, we got the Calgary Flames versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. Pittsburgh is gonna have Jarry at net. Calgary is gonna have shit. Who is Calgary gonna have at net? I feel like hmm. Calgary is gonna have Riddich at net. I don't like a play in this game either. Honestly, it should probably go Pittsburgh's way, but they're heavy favorites here. I don't like a play in this game at all, nor total, nor a winner. Next is gonna be the Minnesota Wild versus the Rangers. Wild, yeah, Stalock at net. He's been all right. And we got Henrik Lundqvist, King Henrik at net for the New York Rangers. I also don't have a play in this game. If I had to pick a side, I would lean Rangers, and they're underdogs. They're not very heavy underdogs, but they're underdogs nonetheless. And I would honestly go with the Rangers in this game. And I don't like a play in this one either, so I'm going to skip over that. Next, we got the Ottawa Senators versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. Ottawa been playing all right. They have their ups and downs, but they gathered themselves up a win streak here. Now they're going to be facing off against the Blue Jackets. Blue Jackets heavy favorite here, and I don't see the real reason why they're heavy favorites outside of playing against Ottawa. Ottawa started really slow, and now they've picked up. They have a few good wins under their belt. They beat a couple of mediocre teams, but they also beat some top ranked teams in the NHL. Obviously the last one that they had was the Montreal Canadiens that they beat on Thursday night. But they got it up a few good wins. They actually beat the Rangers on Friday. They beat Montreal on Thursday, and they haven't played since then. So they're pretty well rested. Columbus on their end, they lost their last game out. I like Ottawa in this game. I don't like a play, but I lean Ottawa, and I'd love to. You know what? I'm gonna give Ottawa as my first play of the day. It's a heavy dog. Looks like they're tied for the heaviest on the board. Calgary's the second. The other one that they're tied with. Well, basically the heaviest dog on the board here is Buffalo at 285. But anyways, that's why the plus 1.5 would be such a good look. But anyways, if you have the Blue Jackets, you're not out of your mind. Obviously, Ottawa's really a bottom feeder team, so you're taking chances when you're betting on them. But we got Craig Anderson at net versus Korpisalo. Craig Anderson doesn't have too many wins under his belt, although he looked very, very impressive. And Ottawa in the last few games have given up 3 goals, so that's something to look out for. Anyways, next we got the Vancouver Canucks versus the Philadelphia Flyers. Flyers back home. Uh, Canucks, these two teams, they're both like they're like sixth and eighth in the league at shots allowed on goal. So they're both really good teams, but they are also very high-powered offenses respectively in the games that they play. Vancouver's on the road, so they have a high-powered offense when they're on the road. Philly's at home, and they play a very high-powered offense game when they're at home. But I expect this to be a defensive game, and I like the under 6.0 if anything. If I could buy the hook, I'd do it and buy the 6.5. Probably pay a little bit less, but I like the under 6.0 in this game. I think it's going to be a little bit more competitive. I think whoever wins is going to be by one. I don't think it's going to be an ultimate blowout, but it is what it is. I like the under in that game. Next, we got the St. Louis Blues versus the Nashville Predators. Nashville, man, I mean, they're like the Portland Trailblazers of the league. Like, you know, they really don't look. I don't care how good they look on paper. They had some very bad teams that they had to play against, and this explains why they have the record that they have. Jake Allen's gonna be at net for St. Louis, 3-1-1, sporting a 3.19 goal against average, 89% save percentage. He's gonna be facing off against Jussi Saros. Saros 2-5-1 on the season, 3.20 goal against average, 89% save percentage in his own rights. This game should probably go way over. I also like another underdog in this one. I like the Blues to win. And not only do I like them to win, I like them to cover, but no sense in putting a minus 1.5 for an underdog team. It's already paying a handsome amount. If you got the Predators, obviously, you know you're looking in the right direction because the Predators are the better team here. They have better guys on their team. Matt Duchene he's been looking extra nice in all the games he's been playing. But I just don't like maybe there's a chemistry factor that I'm missing here, but I just don't like. I'm not overly confident in Nashville, and I'm willing to lose my money. I'll bet on I'll bet on the reigning defending champs, and I'll risk my money. I have no problem losing my money on that. Next, we got the Vegas Golden Knights versus the Dallas Stars. Golden Knights on the road. They don't typically play very well on the road. They're facing off against the Stars. The Stars are probably the best team in the league at going under outside of the Arizona Predators. Sorry, Arizona Coyotes. I was thinking about the Predators because we were just capping that. Anyway, Vegas heavy dogs tonight. Malcolm Subban obviously 0-3, haven't got his first win yet, although he has 2 overtime losses, so he got some points there, but hasn't looked overly impressive. Ben Bishop 2.25 goal against average, 92% save percentage, looking not so shabby in his own right. I don't have a play in this game because I would bet on the under, but I feel like Subban probably lets in a shit ton of goals tonight. I'd rather stay away from that. Next, we got the Islanders versus the Ducks. Islanders road favorites here. Ducks 205 on your buck. 5.5 is the total in this game. We got John Gibson, Thomas Greiss. Thomas Greiss been absolutely phenomenal. The Islanders have gotten a point in 13 straight games, if not 17 straight games. I mean, these guys look freaking formidable. They're a super formidable opponent. Last time the Islanders played, they lost, but they lost in overtime, which gave them another point. I like Islanders to win this game, get a good bounce back. But on the other end, Anaheim, you know, they're all right. You know what I mean? They're not so bad, but they're on a 3-game losing streak, so that's something to look out for. Now, obviously, they lost to some top teams in the league. They lost to Tampa Bay, Florida, and they lost to the team with the most points in the league in Washington. But they made those games very competitive. At the exception of the Florida game, well, obviously the Florida game was competitive, but I mean when I use that word just now, I really meant that they kept the games low. You know what I mean? They try to keep the games low, but another story for another time. They tried, but ultimately failed. All those games went over. 5.5 is the total here. Paying 2-1 on your buck. If you want, the over is also a good pick. I wouldn't give it because they're due for a bounce back. But Anaheim's been allowing a lot of goals, and 5.5 seems really low. If they can't convert, then if they can't convert, that game stays under. If they even score 2 goals in this game goes over. And but anyways, I'm gonna skip over that total. Next is the Sharks and the Sharks and the Kings, and I don't like playing that game. If I had to pick somebody, I'd go with the Kings, and that'd just be hatred because I don't like San Jose. You know what I mean? I don't see any value in betting on San Jose anytime. I think anybody could beat San Jose on any given night. Next, we got the NFL. NFL, we got the Baltimore Ravens versus the Rams. Ravens. Lamar Jackson coming to town. Bad boy. Running all over everybody. Bad boy. Give me the Baltimore Ravens not to fuck around tonight and cover that spread. Minus 3.5. I don't think there's anything else to worry about here. Just my personal opinion. The total's at 47.0. I like the under in this game also. In a running game, in a game where you get a lot of runs, you milk a lot of clock. If you're milking a lot of clock, you're not putting up points. If you're not putting up points, the game has a very slim chance of going over. And I'm not convinced that LA has a high-powered offense like that. Jared Goff is all right and all, but if you want, you could bet on him not to get an interception. But you're risking your own money here. Like I'm not a big fan. The guy has 10 interceptions on the season. Lamar Jackson has 5 in his own right, so you could always bet on him not to throw one because he spends so much time running the football anyways. But he has an arm, the guy. Like he's pretty precise. They don't give him enough credit. He's actually pretty precise and he has an arm. But I like the under 47 in this game also. We're gonna move along to the association. Hey, right on time. And I also there's a lot of games in this that I don't fancy either. So anyways. Brooklyn versus Cleveland. Kyrie Irving is going to be out again. Probably not coming back for a while. Not until they come back from their road trip. They're going to be underdogs. They just had a big win yesterday. They're going to be underdogs 1.5, and they should be because Cleveland gives everybody a hard time. So totals 218.5. It's going to be a tough one. There's no real injuries in this game. If I had to go with a pick, I would go with Colin Sexton not to get 19 points. If he's at 18.5, if he's at 19.5, even better. I'd put him under 19.5 points. I think the guards on Brooklyn, I think they'll do a pretty good job at containing that. I don't think he'll be able to destroy anybody on that team, but I don't have a play in this game. Next is the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Indiana Pacers. Pacers heavy favorites, 9.5. I like the Grizzlies to cover here. I don't know. There's something about the Grizzlies. Grizzlies, they fight, man. They come true. They fight every single time. But the total's at 217.0, and I like that more than I like the spread. So give me the over 217 in that game. Orlando versus Detroit. I don't like a play in this game. Detroit is favored when they really shouldn't be. They've only had one decisive victory, in my opinion. My opinion. I'm not talking about any actual facts. I'm just talking about my personal opinion, what I've been seeing, and I can't bet on either of these teams. None of them have shown me any signs of real dominance or anything like that. 207 is the total, and I'd love to put it over, but I get they gauge those Orlando games so nicely. You know what? I'm gonna give you guys just some numbers real quick so you guys could see what I mean. The that 207, it's pretty much been there every single time Orlando plays. And Vegas, I mean, not it's not you could give Vegas credit for gauging it properly, but honestly, I think Orlando is just they're just that easy to cap, like you know what I mean. So if as long as you don't change that number, more often than not, you'll probably lose because of how they're setting up the number. And numbers matter, obviously. We're breaking down the books here. The numbers matter because that's gonna make the difference between the winner and the loser. So Orlando on the under would typically be in the bottom of the list, right? But they're not. They're not. They're actually not. Orlando 7-7-1 push at that total. 7 covers, 7 unders, 7 overs, 7 unders, and 1 push. So it's basically a 50-50 chance that they go over or not. And Detroit, they don't really have an identity. They spent most of the season, most of the beginning of the season, they spent without the guys that they have now. Now the guys that they're there, they have to implement them into the lineup. You have to mix Derrick Rose with Blake Griffin. They don't know who's the real playmaker here, and they have to try to control who gets how many points, who gets how many touches, and all that. I don't like playing this game at all. Detroit's 9 overs, 7 unders. So I don't really like playing this game. Got to move on. Miami versus the Charlotte Hornets. Miami is a 10.5 favorite. I mean, they should cover that with flying colors. They're one of the best teams in the league at covering the spread. Charlotte also not that very. They're not very good at all. Let's just check to see if there's any injuries that might hurt us on this spread. But Miami, they start extremely fast, and they the bench usually comes on and keeps the other teams in the game. And I think Coach Spoelstra is going to try to address that situation and probably try to go for a blowout early and a blowout at the end of the game. Give me Miami Heat 10.5 to cover that spread. Next, we got the Hawks and the Timberwolves. 236 is the total. Timberwolves are the favorites on the road here. I don't like playing this game. 236 seems like a little bit high for me. And not because it can't go over, but because I like Minnesota could easily go over. So could the Hawks. But if the Hawks don't convert, this game doesn't go over. This game stops right at 230 if the Hawks don't convert. Minnesota could easily win in blowout fashion and cover. To 120. to 105. That's not an over. You know what I mean? 125 to 105. That's not an over. So now you're anticipating that it's going to be a close game if you're betting on these two teams. I don't see it. So I'm going to skip over this game altogether. Last time they played each other, last year, game went to 154 points. So feel free to do whatever you like. Next, we got Philly versus Toronto. Philly is favorite now. They were not favorite last time I checked. They were. It was actually a pick'em. It opened up at Philly being underdog because Raptors are hot right now. Right now, Philly's on the road and they're a minus 1.5 favorite. And I like Philly to cover with no Kawhi Leonard, no Kyle Lowry, and no Serge Ibaka in this lineup. I like Philly to cover, not only cover, but embarrass the shit out of the Raptors for last year, making Joel Embiid cry and all that. This is a revenge game, revenge spot for Philly. So I like Philly minus 1.5. I'd even make it a max. I'd even make it a max bet, but I'm gonna have to wait to see if Embiid actually plays or not. Pretty sure he does. That's pretty much it. Next, Celtics Kings. Celtics, one of the hottest teams in the league. 7-point favorites. 205 is the total here. Kings just played last night. Yes, they just played last night versus the Wizards. Wizards been allowing about 130 points, and they couldn't get it done yesterday. So the Kings won the game, but they couldn't get 130 points up. In their defense, they didn't let Washington score 130 points either. I like Boston to cover here. Should be easy money. Should be easy money, but like again, like I say all the time, Boston is really not as good as their record leads on. So I'm not 100% convinced that they do. Ooh, no. You know what? No, I don't have Celtics. Take that back. Kemba Walker's not playing today, so he has a neck sprain. Scratch that. I don't have them to cover that spread. If anything, I'd have the Kings money line. If anything, boy, do I like the Kings money line. Anyways, next game, Portland Trailblazers versus the Chicago Bulls. Damian Lillard back into the lineup. You guys, if you are following me on this show, you know that I'm not betting on Portland until next year. They're gonna have to show me something. I'm skipping over this game. Next, Utah Jazz versus the Bucks. Bucks 7.5 favorite. Jazz on the road. They don't play so good on the road. 223.0. That should probably be an easy over, but I think Utah does such a good job at containing guys. Last time I put the over, thinking that they were gonna go back and forth with Minnesota, they stayed true to their identity and they did not go over. So I would like an under in this game, but Milwaukee also plays at such a fast pace that this game could easily go over in their own respects. So I'm gonna go with an under here. I think Budenholzer matches the intensity and probably tries to play slow. He could probably knock down more threes than Utah can anyways. So playing slow might just be a disadvantage on the Utah side. And that's pretty much it. Lakers Spurs. Lakers should be an easy money here. Lakers should be easy money. Spurs just got a big win to snatch their 8-game losing streak. I think they're gonna try to bring the fight to LeBron James and the Lakers. Last time they seen each other was earlier this year. Lakers covered, flying colors. Anthony Davis seems like he's probably gonna play today, and if he does, I like the Lakers even more. So minus 4.5 for the Lakers, easy money. Totals 223.5. Spurs are the over team of the league. They go over in every game possible. Don't put the under. Lakers defense is really not that good to be putting it under. Yes, best defense in the league, but it's really not that good to be putting the top over team in the betting world under. No, not worth it. It's under or nothing. Don't sorry, it's over or nothing. Don't put the under in that game. Next, we got the OKC Thunder versus the Warriors. I don't like playing this game. Last time Warriors seen OKC, OKC blew them out in the first, second, and third quarter. Third quarter, last 3-4 minutes happens. They come back. Fourth quarter happens. Ultimate comeback that makes them look like they might even fuck around and win the game. They end up losing by about 3 points. Let me check if I'm not wrong. 114 to 108, 6 points. So double the amount that I said. They were actually 7.5 favorites in that last game. 6.0 favorites in that game. So they were 6.0 favorites and they closed at 6.0 favorites. Now they're 6.5 favorites. I don't like that number any more than I did the last time. 212 is the total. I don't like playing this game at all. Anyway, that's pretty much it for me. So, anyways, before I give you guys the Bookie Bullies rundown, I'd like you guys to go ahead and smash that like button, share, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell in that top left corner so you're advised anytime I post videos like these. So, starting from the top, got Ottawa Senators money line giving you the under 6.0 in Vancouver versus Philly. St. Louis Blues money line, Islanders money line, Baltimore Ravens in the NFL minus 3.5 and the under 47 in that game, giving you the over 217 in the Memphis versus Pacers. giving you the Miami Heat minus 10.5, Philly minus 1.5, the under 223.0 in Utah, and the Lakers 4.5. That's 11 plays. As usual, I will put a buck or two for all the parlays to hit. That's pretty much it for me. I'll tell you, like I tell you all the time, best of luck to all. Please do not bet what you can't afford to lose. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. We're trying to make it to June without losing all of our money. If you can make a little bit of extra so you can pay some bills, maybe take your wife out for something nice, pay for some vacation, this is what it's going to do for you. And as you go along, you could incrementally increase your bet so that you could actually make a profit and long-term investments worthwhile. So that's pretty much it for me. I'll tell, be safe, be good, and I'll see you again tomorrow.